Welcome everyone to a very special episode of the Game Dev Discussion Podcast. As you all know, the Experience Points community and the Dynasty community recently collaborated on a Cyberpunk art challenge. Winner being Jason, and we're going to be speaking to him in a little while. But first, before I sort of have a conversation with Jason, I thought it's best we have a kind of a retrospective on the challenge. So joining me will be Kem from Experience Points, Jeremy from obviously Dynasty, and Martin DeGraff, who is a community manager at Dynasty, but he did a lot of the heavy lifting for myself and Jeremy. So guys, thank you so much for being here. It means a lot. You guys all good? Are we happy?
Yeah, we're doing good.
Martin sounds like he's cooking. I don't know what's.
I'm cooking.
What's
on the
man.
menu? What's on the menu?
Yeah, Mike, what are you cooking? Tell us.
I'm not cooking anything right now.
All right.
Oh, that's boring. Okay, so the first thing I just want to sort of talk about is that I've got to sort of applaud Kem for this, because I don't know how the hell you did it, dude. Like, you got so many sponsors for this thing. Like,
Dude, it's
I was
crazy.
going to read them off. I was looking at them now. Substance, Houdini, Marmoset, Decagon, Polygon Runaway, Games Textures, Gaia, Lincoln Hughes, Pure Polygons, Flip Novels, R-Station, XP Pen, JRO, and Starlight Station. How did you get all this, man? This is crazy.
To be like, I don't know which one was the first one, because obviously we had the podcast and obviously the portfolio review and some of the EXP rewards. But I think I just decided to message one of the Substance guys on Discord, because I speak to one of the QA devs quite a bit. So I was like fuck it, like, can I speak to one of your community managers? And he's like, sure. He put me in contact, and they were on board, and that kind of opened the floodgates to just get the rest. So I realized, like, I'm just gonna message people directly, either find their email address on the website and be like, hey, we're running this challenge. Mention the big names, obviously, like Substance is sponsoring it. Are you interested? And it just got a bit, I don't want to say out of hand, but it just
That traction.
Yeah, was able to get the rest, except Epic, unfortunately.
Do you think it was a case of like one person? It only took one company to buy in, and then they're like, as soon as like say, I don't know who was first, but say for example, it's Substance who was first. That's for argument's sake. Do you reckon the rest of them were like, holy shit, if Substance are in this is going to be a serious deal? Okay, we'll get on this. Like, and everyone else is just sort of flooded in behind it.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think the big ones like R-Station, for example, would have joined in unless a lot of the other big companies were there.
Dude, and I have to say one thing as well. Like, how cool was it when we, you guys all went live, and like, right, we're doing this, and the R-Station blog section was just all Cyberpunk logos. It was so sick to see.
That's crazy, man. Pleasure. Yeah, there was a while there where we're just sending each other screenshots of the entire website, just looking at it, going, "This is kind of crazy."
It's hilarious because the guys at R-Station were asking me, because obviously I'm still working out at the moment, and the guys were just like, well, what's going on? And I'm like, yeah, they're just running a challenge. And I mentioned to him, like, oh, would you ever consider, like, at the time I was like, would you ever consider doing a challenge with them? And I'm like, not right now. And then this saw it blow up, and I'm like, holy shit, this is way bigger than I ever expected.
See, I don't know how big it actually got. Like, obviously we can see, but we didn't do any marketing for this. Like, realistically speaking, we didn't pay for any marketing, like, between us.
Right, we got the art station helped us a little bit with like the little banner.
Yeah, everything was done through the Discord by teasing into the Discord and on Twitter and other socials. But that was about it.
I think it's just a collaborative effort. Like, all the judges were like, prominent names in the industry anyway. I think just that in combination of everyone gets so hyped at the same time, good organization on socials, and like pushing it. Like I said, you did no like technically paid marketing.
Yeah, none.
And it blew up.
We had like a lot of contestants. Like,
yes. Yeah, it was over 100, right?
Me and Martin were using R-Station as the benchmark for like.
Yeah.
Dude, what do you mean like contestants? Half of them were massive employees, weren't they? The amount of people that came out to play for Massive, I was like, what the hell is this?
No comment.
No, but there were over 150 people that posted the first blog, and that's what we went with as the first entries. Like,
So looking back at that, then, like, what before all this, before you posted and we went live with it, and you started getting engaged for this, what would you have said would have been a good number of contestants?
I was thinking like 50, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like less
50.
than 100, because if you look at the last ArtStation ones, I think the King Arthur had like maybe 450. And you imagine how big ArtStation is. Like they get
Is that what they had? 450
entries, yeah.
Huh.
So
I
kind of look at that and think, well, they have millions of people. Like the amount of traffic that you guys get must be insane.
Yeah, so the ratio should be.
Yeah,
I would say maybe around 50, 75, maybe.
Yeah,
I think it's also like a big testament to the communities as well. Like it's it's easy when you have like a Discord to think that, oh yeah, it's just a bunch of passive people like lurking, but people really like bought into it from the Discord. I felt like it was it's one of these things like where you see how big the community is, but how strong the community is as well. Like some Discord communities are kind of like it's quiet and dormant. There's like this thousands of people in there, but no one talks and no one's active. When this started, that's all the Discord chat was in both the experience points and the Dynasty one. Was just people talking about this challenge and have you seen so and so's entry, and have you seen this?
All that
great
talk
to
was
be
cool.
part of.
Yeah, all that talk was cool.
What anything along the way which you thought like really, what's the word? So one of them being obviously when everything went live, the ArtStation being taken over by blogs, that was crazy. Is there anything else that caught your eye? So one for me was, I remember when I was trying to avoid people's work in progresses, because I was like, I just wanted to sort of, when I saw the final piece, see the final piece and see the story. But one which did catch my eye really early on was Martin Hoff's. Like I saw it, I was like, holy shit, this guy's really gonna go to town on this. And he did so much stuff, and then he's just like, you know what, I'm gonna focus on this other scene, and then produces this crazy scene instead. And all of us are like, oh, we're not worthy. But is there any like moments during it like where it really sort of sparked a bit of enjoyment, and you saw a particular work in progress, particular update? Can you guys remember any of that sort of stuff?
Augustus was pretty.
Yeah, I was gonna say Augustus.
Yeah.
He killed it in the blockout. In the blockout, it was already so far ahead that Ken messaged me like, "Is this even possible?"
I remember. I remember when he posted his first work in progress. I had people message me like, "Did he start early? Like this can't be allowed, surely." And we had to clear it up. But he was on fire. He hit the ground running quickly, and it just turned out great. Which is
if you look at his other stuff too, he just runs at that speed.
Yeah, he's so quick, and I think it's a testament that you can get things done very, very quickly if you just focus on what you need to do.
And plan. I think
he planned a lot in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you did your Twitch stream where you were going over the like, honorable mentions and the of the people's, it's like the thing that was consistent across all of them was a super strong plan and a super strong block out that allowed them to just power through and go crazy. With Augustus, I think that's one which was super obvious. Like minute one, like that block out was absolutely solid for like a day one block out. It was nuts.
He is using Blender. Augustus is using Blender. Just to say it.
Oh my god. So that's like the majority of the massive office who entered, plus Augustus, plus I imagine there's a load more as well. Actually, so what I do want to mention is really I forgot how good. So it's funny because obviously when we did the judging, we went through it all. When I was watching the stream, you did Sven's again, and I was like, oh god, this really was. The bit which I really loved about this challenge as well is the takes on Cyberpunk. Like Sven, I think that's why Sven stuck with me like that.
Yeah, Sven's was really interesting.
It wasn't a conventional Cyberpunk, and it's like, yeah, he was out like a cottage field with like all the Cyberpunk. So I was like, oh, there's some serious like thought and narrative going on here. That was such a pleasure to see.
Felt like The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk had a baby.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Oh, it's so true.
Man, I try to think there was a few like that actually. I'm sorry, I'm going to be really poor with names, but it's one of the honorable mentions. The one of the big horizontal shot where it's like a big it's an alley, but like
with Leah.
Yes,
yeah.
Like you won the previous challenge, ArtStation challenge, by the way.
The City Abyss.
Yeah.
Is the one she submitted.
Same artist? When
she won the King Arthur.
Yeah, that was good.
She was my
that was really good. The Merlin's Cave.
Yeah, that one.
That was hot. That was so good.
Yeah, she did really good.
So, one question about this: do we think? Is there anything looking back that you think, given a second round, you do differently, or like when you do the next challenge, like okay, we probably need to do this X, Y, Z? Is there anything going in your head where you think, yeah, we really should address this for next time? Because I'm guessing there's gonna be more. I mean, we're gonna be doing more, right?
No comment.
Cam with no comment. That's hilarious. I mean, I have something that I want to say on that, but it's not really like anything that we can do. It's more like, so we were using the blogs, right? And there was just, it became really difficult to get all of that stuff collected together or to be able to find it in an easy way.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, if we should be doing like a post-mortem that we submit to ArtStation or something to just talk about all the stuff that we actually needed.
Okay, tell you what,
would have made it easier.
Let's do this. What would make it easier? What do you think is, so off the top of my head, just thinking about just to start a conversation, I'm guessing something like the ability to bookmark certain like particular blog posts that people go back and edit and will add to, and I'm able to just click on the bookmarks.
Yeah, like right now you can't. Can you follow someone's blog but not their profile?
No, you can only follow their profile, and it will like update if they post a blog.
Right, and then you have to go through the filters to see the blog posts. Yeah. Right. Okay.
On the app, actually, so with the updated app, the app's a lot better because you can filter the notifications to only show me blog updates from people I follow. And obviously, not everyone's posting blogs, so it tends to say quite.
Oh yeah, clear. So it'll be in your flood of stuff you're scrolling by.
But that's on the app.
Yeah.
The other option, I guess, is having like an ability to host a. I don't know. I suppose hosting a challenge is a bit much, like a community challenge.
Dude, one thing is to be able to unlock it so that you can drop feedback in the comment of that blog post, because you can't do like red pens or like post an image without it being like it has to be a link that they can click on.
Yeah.
Like if you could just see it.
I'm probably on the other end. Like, I feel like the blog was, I don't want to say pointless because that's the wrong word, but I think looking back, most of that stuff could have been done directly through the Discord. Mm-hmm. But on the other end, it gave us like a huge amount of like reach,
context as well. Like I think that's the best bit. You're right. You could do it all through the Discord. I think the only thing with it would have been you wouldn't be able to filter through. Like if I wanted to, so for example, Jason's, if he did it all through the Discord on a Discord channel,
true,
it makes it kind of cumbersome to filter through.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because we don't have a dedicated challenge page like ArtStation does, and unless that's public, wink, wink.
Yeah,
and, you know.
I think. I mean, to be honest, the like I said, the blog. I think if you something like what the mobile app has, which is you filter to blogs, or you add like an ability. Okay, say for example me. Let's say a bad case example, but good. I post blogs every week because of the podcast. I suppose it'd be nice to be able to control how you receive notifications from people. So on Twitter, for example, I can set it so that every time Jeremy posts, I get a notification, and then I can set where every time.
So you're talking like a bell per user.
Kind of, yeah. So we get notifications at the moment. If I'm on ArtStation, you get a notification no matter what I do. If I post a blog, if I post some content, if I post a product, you get a notification. It'd be nice to be able to just say, okay, from this person, I only want to receive blog updates. And also, to be fair, I mean, ArtStation does have, when you click on notifications and you click on blog, like it does filter through the blogs, but it'd be nice to be able to say, I don't want to have all of my people I'm following in this blog thing, because at the moment it works quite well in terms of, I click on notifications and I click on blog and I can only see blog posts from people I follow. I think it'd just be cool to not have every single person I follow on there and be able to filter it somehow.
Right.
So, like for example, you
could click the bell and only see the belled characters.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
profiles. I say characters.
Nice. Oh, you're treating it. We're all a simulation anyway, right?
Simulation, man. No. So Okay, so I met Kem at when we did the Nottingham meetup, the Empire meetup, and that was super cool. Were we talking about the challenge then?
Yeah, because I remember Jay Cummings came up to me to kind of hint at it. Like, I think he knew about it already, which was fine. But yeah, we were close to launching. Well, having the page ready.
Mm-hmm. So,
right,
yeah,
and so were you already talking, like Martin? Were you already talking to Kem about this?
Yeah, since last
It's like
year,
everyone
December.
was behind my back with this.
Yeah.
I think we started in December, to be honest.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It takes so much. Like, I don't think me and Martin realized how much time this stuff takes, and this is tiring as well.
Yeah,
like, it's another thing to do on top of everything else. Yeah, it's taxing.
But like that, it's awesome because like you and Martin just basically spawned this hell demon of a challenge. Whereas like I'm just like in the back going, oh, that's cool. Yeah, cool. I'm gonna look at pretty pictures now. But Martin, man, dude, you did so much for the Empire side of stuff.
Yeah, you did a lot, dude.
Yeah, it was setting up all the channels, make sure that all the channels worked for
I
its
have a funny
purpose.
story about that, actually. we were
Go ahead.
when we were making the channels. I think like a week before launch, Alfie, our moderator, had made everything public, and like 3 people had seen the channels, and like I basically I screamed out,
Oh my god!
and he didn't know what to do, so I just had to purge everything and remake it all. But yeah,
Oh my god!
there was a mini leak and like a fire happening at that moment.
No.
Dude, one thing that is kind of okay. I'm trying to figure out how to word this while I sound like a moron. Do we think that with future challenges, like, so it's a very, so you know, like with Cyberpunk's got a very traditional idea now. The way I approach these challenges, and the same with the outstation challenges and anything, it's always a learning experience, and it's always a way to grow my portfolio while doing something cool. And outstation approach in an interesting way because the challenges are very deliberate what they choose. It's not necessarily just let's just pick the coolest thing. It's like they're thinking about ways they can collaborate with people. They're thinking about ways that this is going to help the community grow in particular ways. Cyberpunk's very, okay, I'm going to say it's a cliche, like in terms of an environment. It's a cool environment where you can do some really fancy lights. It looks great. Do you think in future, if we did, because Kem said no comment, so I'm hypothesizing here, but with future challenges, is that the sort of thing that maybe it's worth considering? It's like, okay, what's a challenge where we're actually going to get people to grow as artists as well? Because like I said, Cyberpunk, and certain people went out of the box, like, you know, Sven, and Jason as well. Both of their pieces were like not the cliche Cyberpunk scene. Do we think that with future challenges, we're going to push? It'd be a good idea to push into where we're challenging the artists a bit more. They're able to put someone in their portfolio that is a real point of difference from the slew of stuff that you get on ArtStation at the moment. And we'll see if I can trick Kevin to confirm in future challenges.
Well,
right
I
now.
mean, like Cyberpunk was a safe bet because
the
game was releasing when we were meant to finish.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're like, oh no, they're delayed. Oh,
like, that was
no.
articulated on purpose to do a Cyberpunk themed challenge, like to run up.
I forgot about that, to be honest.
Because so many people were talking about it, and me and Martin were trying to figure out like the theme because I think ArtStation took most of the cool ones already. So Cyberpunk it kind of just made sense to use that, and sadly they delayed the game. But I think regardless of the challenge, like you can put your own spin on it. Like Jason made an insane scene, and it's not a cliche Cyberpunk environment as you said, and it's still portfolio ready, and he landed a job. I don't know if it was because of that scene, but hey, he got a new job thanks to his his incredible portfolio. So it's what you make, it's what you do with the challenge.
Maybe that's almost dude, you could do it. You could bait people. You could like be Age of the Chaos, like super bait, like sci-fi corridor meme, but like see if somebody can do something really different with it and like be out the box. Like what's sort of a cliche?
which is a shame. Like it would be great to see so many people try things that aren't the cliche thing. But I don't know if it'd be great to do a new challenge. I don't have any.
Dude, I've got one for you. Do a throne room, but someone does like just a bathroom. There's a challenge.
So Alex, just a material like planet challenge where it starts as a material ball, but you have to make it feel like its own ecosystem.
Oh, there's a dude who does this.
So you bring the camera down.
Houdini's. I know who you're talking about. He has like all the weather storms and everything.
Ben Keeling. No, not weather storms. It's Ben Keeling.
Oh shit!
He does. Anyone who's not like, obviously this is a podcast, so this is audio, but go check him out. He's a Rocksteady senior artist, and basically he starts with a map ball, but then adds like mushrooms, and he makes these little clouds as well.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like you said, like, the little ecosystems, but that is a sick idea. I love that sort of stuff. Well, guys, I'm afraid we're gonna move on to the next stage of the podcast. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys. Jason's just been patient, listening to us chat shit. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna say goodbye to you guys. It's been really cool talking, and we're gonna bring Jason in. So Cam, Jeremy, Martin, been cool talking.
Thank you.
We'll hook after this.
Thank you.
All right, now, Jason.
Hey, man.
So you've had to listen to us talk absolute nonsense for a little bit. I'll put the congratulations out there now. Like, dude, you killed it with this project. I suppose before we get into the nitty-gritty details, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy were you with this project?
I was super happy. I remember when you guys announced the result, I'm sleeping, and when I wake up, I check the result, and I scroll through all the people's name, and I saw my name at the top, and I was screaming like, "Oh my god! Oh my god! Is that my name? I'm at first place! Oh my god!" So yeah, it was super unbelievable. And
dude, it's a hard pick. I think everyone had the same. I think everyone had the same pool of like 5 artists for like this sort of picking the who are the top. But it was I think yours. Everyone like it was pretty unanimous that yours was the favorite. I think you just nailed all the things. You had like a really I think like we were talking about earlier. It's the fact that it wasn't cliche. It was like it had all the subtones that you get with Cyberpunk, but you had like a really different color palette. You had, some interesting storytelling, but like it was intrigue. Like one thing I liked about this was I wanted to know more about what was going on, and that's the stuff that's hard to do with scene. Like, I looked at your scene and I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Like, what's that? What's it doing? And what's that? What's that over there? And like, it's very difficult to do that. So I think that's where like you really got set above the others in that it was unique and you nailed all these other little aspects.
Thanks, dude. Actually, that's quite interesting because when I first thought about Cyberpunk, first thing I came to my mind is my hometown, Hong Kong, and place like Tokyo. They're like very popular Cyberpunk theme, with like really dense and extreme tall buildings everywhere, commercial sign and neon lights, and different political belief and culture, and because my previous work are all based in Hong Kong, if you see it in my art station, like there's a restaurant scene set in Hong Kong, and then another one, Concrete Evergreen, is set in Hong Kong as well. So I'm thinking for my own portfolio, I want to do something new, like something not Hong Kong, and then I got some inspiration from the real world, and I make the children quarantine song. That's how the idea started.
So like when you're coming through this, like let's go like right back to the beginning. You are blocking this all in. What was there like anything in your head that stuck through from beginning to end? So when you're doing a block, okay, I want like this particular story and mood to be there, and you've kept that from beginning to end, or vice versa. Was there any bits where like you thought you had the thing that was going to be the main part of your scene, and then you just sort of went as you developing this thing, this isn't working for me. I'm going to change it, and just talk a bit about the way this project changed or didn't change throughout its development.
Sure. So when the challenge start, I always know I want to make something about quarantine zone and something about virus. But this is like a cyberpunk challenge, so I change it into something like digital virus. So like maybe in a cyberpunk world, like all the technology and human merge so close together with all kinds of synthetic implants and augmented cyberwares. And then this kind of virus can spread into humans through like invisible network and hack into like human system to make them feel sick. So I always have this kind of ideas before I decide what scene to make. Then what I did is search on Pinterest and find all different kind of really cool composition and cool um, color scheme. And then I did like a paint over on top and see which one will suit the quarantine idea the most. Then after that, it is all set.
So what about the panda? Where did the panda? So I'm looking for your blog, and it's like you stick quite close to the concept, and then a panda just comes out of nowhere. So what's the story about the panda?
I don't know. Like really, I have no idea. It's like I want to make this place children quarantine zone. So I want to make it like have a history where this place used to be very children friendly. They have all different kind of very cute animal to take care of the children. So there's like really cute bunny, cute panda, and then there's a yellow bear at the background. Um, there's some kind of symbolic, but I don't want to get into that. And so yeah, that's why I pick all these kind of cute animals. Yeah.
That's that's actually way darker than I was expecting. It's interesting that you went into that though. That you wanted it to be like, well, it's kind of almost like cyberpunk in its nature. It's like you got like the underlying, like what's the word? The main obvious thing of it's a virus, and then with it's a it's dystopian. But like building it on top of, because cyberpunk is all about like the degeneration of like the real world and like the way corporate
Mm-hmm.
entities like take over things, and like a virus, I suppose, and turn the norm into something that's unpleasant. It's interesting that this scene kind of replicates that. It's like the norm was a fairground, like friendly environment, and then this virus is like infected it and turned it into this very haunting space. Did you like? Was that a happy accident, or did you just stumble upon that? Because I know, it's like when you put an environment together, sometimes just you put two pieces together and they click, and it's like, oh, actually, that works. So how did that come about? Were you actually intentionally doing that?
Actually, I think I intentionally put like every little ideas and then mix it up all together and create this kind of really mysterious story for the player to make up their own interpretation. That's something I really like to do, is to put down really interesting uh, message or symbols or some kind of setting for player to imagine and form their own story. So I was inspired by what's that called, Akira, and
Yeah.
I remember there's a scene where it's one of the character, um, his his body start to merge into the concrete and the cables and all different kind of mimic structures. Um, yeah, that scene was so scary and it stuck into my mind for so long. And but I at the same time really like the message. It's like how human and technology, um, because they are overdeveloped, the technology, and it start to take over the human body, and turn human into some kind of monster, and he have no ability to control the power. And I borrowed that idea and put it into my scene. So, and that is why you can see on the floor there's cables and pipes popping up underneath the ground. and stuff like that. I didn't really explain what happened, but I want to create like a scenario and let the audience to form their own story.
Do you know what vibe I get? Have you seen The Matrix?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Oh, dude, there's someone speaking to you the other day, and they didn't. I'm not going to name them because it's shameful an artist hasn't seen Matrix. But the scene when Neo emerges from the pod and like the Sentinels are like checking him out. I get them vibes a little bit from this, not necessarily the color palette, but just with that open pod and the organic matter. And then there's that like robotic creature, like sort of looking like looming over it. I just get them that Matrix vibe from it.
Yes,
So
of course. I watch a lot of cyberpunk movie. I'm not like a really big cyberpunk fans, but I definitely watch a lot of movies and animation like Ghost in the Shell, Matrix, Blade Runner. Even like recently some Black Mirror in Netflix. I think they all give me really cool ideas.
So treating this like a bit of a retrospective. During this process of creating this scene, what things did you find? What did you have trouble with? What was a bit of a headache for you? What did you not enjoy? What did you struggle to solve the problem? Like what? Yeah, where were the hiccups during this project?
I think the biggest challenge is staying focused. Yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge. Like there's so many things going on, and it's really hard to stay focused. Sometimes I would just stare at the screen and didn't do much. So yeah, I think the biggest challenge is how to stay productive, and then the other one is um, how to push the quality to look more realistic. I have like really hard time to make something look very realistic in this scene for some reason. Maybe because all the cute animals face, uh, and I was imagine everything from my mind. Maybe I use some reference image from Akira, but I never done uh, a scene like this, like very abstract. I usually done scene like reference from real life, like place like Hong Kong. So it's really challenging to make something sci-fi to look believable.
Uh, I mean, what you? I mean, with this though, I mean, okay. You got in terms of the mood, like you got super close to the concept. Um, I'm glad it didn't come across super realistic. I feel like when I see super realistic stuff, I get the sterile vibe. It's just like there's very little because you just replicate real life. Like I say just okay. I'm not like it's not a slate of realistic art, but I like the fact that yours. I mean, I'll be honest. It doesn't strike me as like hyper realism. And if the fact is so close to the concept, I like the mood comes because you don't with real life you don't get a lot of mood like unless you have like super stylized or like exaggerated lighting or pre-made lighting. Realism isn't interesting. Like it doesn't have character. Like whereas because you got so close to the concept, all the mood and the personality in the concept comes through in this, and that's not just down to the subject matter. Like the color palettes, the tones, the like the macro details, the micro details, all of them things like come together. Where like okay, yeah, you didn't know like hyper realism, but I feel like you got something better. I much prefer this. I think to seeing something hyper realistic. Because if this was
Yeah,
hyper realistic, half of this stuff wouldn't look like this.
I'm glad it turned out well. Like I was actually really inspired by Simon. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Simon Stetton. I don't know how to pronounce. Um, so his illustrations are very atmospheric and mysterious. Um, and at the same time, s- some of his illustration, like I like how he put like a happy smiley face on a military spaceship, which feel really creepy and unsettled. But at the same time, it's like a commercial company market their products to have like a smiley, happy
Yeah.
thing, but actually they're hiding and masking the real purpose of their product. And so Simon actually his style really inspired my Cyberpunk challenge scene. Like the way he used color, like really, I don't know how to explain, like very atmospheric and very foggy and mysterious, like those kind of feeling, and simple at the same time. Like he always have like a really empty sky to let the eyes to rest, and then he put a like really interesting and like put all the details, concentrate in one or two place. So I really like those kind of art style.
So if we just to wrap, do full circle on the retrospective type of thing, is there anything you look back at with this project? You're looking at these renders. If you're going through your ArtStation post, is there anything you wish you did differently? Not too differently, because you won, so you don't want to go too different. But is there anything you wish you explored something more? You wish you spent more time on something? You tried something different?
I wish I put more guts and fresh into the scene, because I was inspired by Akira, and I didn't put enough like disgusting fresh into the scene. So one of my ideas, like maybe one of the children escape, and then all the virus or the children's anger have merged into the world and started this kind of chaos. And those fresh are so tiny in the pot, some people may not even see it. So I think if I want to change, I will make those kind of fresh coming out from the pot, uh, like more clear and more. It's like more easy for the player to understand. Yeah.
Dude, you should definitely write a blog post or something, just getting into these sub narratives, which are kind of on a subconscious level. Like you said, the fact that it's the children, it's based in a fairground area, and that's because it's this contradiction of what the setting is. It is originally a playful, nice place, and now it's this super negative space. What you just told me about the organic stuff, that would make, I think that this is something that I think a lot of artists struggle with. Actually, is like they've got all these stories in their head that they want to tell. And on face value, I look at the scene and I just go, it looks fucking cool. I love it. And there's all these sub narratives which I'm not aware of. And this is a difficult thing as well, because sometimes that's a good thing. There's the sub narrative's not there, because what makes me look at this scene and be interested is them subconscious cues. Like, I'm not, like you said, when you told me about the fairground and why you chose it, I'm not consciously thinking about that. I just sort of go, this is an interesting space, and but why am I interested? And it could be this stuff that you've just described, the combination with the virus story, the fact that it's the fairgrounds and these horrible places in a old fairground. Like, I subconsciously just see like happy animals, and I want to see like I said, happy stuff, because then I see negative. It's like, okay, now my brain's interested to know why.
Yep.
And although it's not like like I said, it's subconscious, and then maybe you don't need to explain it, but it would be really curious to see how many of these underlying tones are not immediately apparent.
Yep.
That's just from my perspective, just because I'm hearing this stuff and I'm like, damn, that's cool. I want to know more. I want to know the rest of the lore behind this world.
I really love.
Go on.
Yeah, I really love like environment art storytelling. Like I like to like playing. Like I remember when I was first introduced to environment storytelling is playing a game called BioShock. Like I like how environment can tell a story without any words, and those kind of story isn't like show directly to the player, more like let the player to discover at their own pace. Like some people may not feel anything, maybe they just feel it is very atmospheric and moody in the scene. Like it is a scary place. It is really dark, and then some will analyze a little bit deeper, like the setting of the scene. Is this a car park? Is this a quarantine zone? Is this a sci-fi setting? Something like that. Then some people will dive even further, like they will start to form their own story with their own interpretation. And for me, as an environment artist, this is like really fascinating for me to keep doing it. Like, um, I like you said, this like why the plays are so interesting because I place different kind of element into the scene and then let the audience to fill in the gaps and let them explore and let them immerse into this space. Um, sorry, I got lost in track. I don't know what I'm saying.
No, dude. But let's carry on with that thought process. Do you
Yeah.
think you'd ever want to carry on this world? Like you've got a really interesting world here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever think about doing another scene and you just take the scene a little bit further and well, not this scene, but you like this world a little bit further? So you go like maybe go down to the bottom end where that guy is standing in the what looks like a claws or something. Like, do you go, okay, I want to go down there now. Let's explore that area. And then, do you ever consider doing that?
I think so, but I also have a lot of different kind of ideas I want to make for my next portfolio. I always have so many ideas, so many things I want to create. Like every day I will look at art station, I saw so many cool pictures created by others. Like those those things push me and motivate me to keep creating more stuff. And I think one of the biggest reason why I want to get into this industry is I like those games with like a really rich world design and allow me or other player to explore, to create like some kind of fantasy, um, and allow me to have a space to escape from the real world. Uh, I'm not sure if that makes sense.
No,
But
I'm following
yeah,
you. I'm following you.
so like I always want to make something new. Um, maybe next idea will be something happier because I think in my portfolio everything is so dark. So next portfolio maybe I want to make something happy, but at the same time, uh, of course, there's some kind of storytelling embedded inside. Yeah.
I think. Have you seen the game We Happy Few?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So I think it'd be quite. I haven't. I don't think I can think of someone who's done this yet. But you know, like a scene where on face, if you were to look at it on face value, you go, "Oh, that's a really happy, nice scene," and then you look at the actual what's going on in the scene, you're like, "Oh, suddenly that doesn't feel so happy," and like there's some really twisted, dark things going on. God, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of an example which isn't completely vulgar. Um, but anyway, I think that'd be quite interesting one where, like you said, it's a happy scene or a bright scene or a pleasant scene, but it
Mm,
has really dark subtones going on
mm,
that make you almost double take. You go, oh, it's like
mm.
a rainbow chocolate bridge, but like, oh, that's not chocolate. That's like
Yeah, things
people's
even like
bodies.
how Misaki like Spirit Away, that
Yes.
that animation, the scenery are so peaceful and colorful, but actually that place is a very haunting place. So maybe the
Mm.
next scene I want to do something like that.
Yeah, because isn't the whole like meaning behind Spirited Away is actually a very dark. It's about like human trafficking or something. Or, I can't remember what the director called it. Anyway, it's got really dark subtones, like I said, but it's a happy, nice looking
Mm.
film. There's one in Spirited Away. There's one scene which I have always been unsettled by, and it's when the parents first start eating, they
Oh
turn into
yes,
pigs.
yes, yes.
Whenever the pigs are in that film, they're so terrifying. Like so big, grotesque noises they make. Like it's genuinely unsettling to watch. Like
Mm.
even as an adult, I watch it now and I'm like, yeah, this it just makes me feel uncomfortable to watch. It's very weird.
Yeah, I really like those kind of things?
Well, it's where they just push the animations a little bit further. Same with like No Face, when No Face gets big and grotesque. It's a very, I mean, imagine, I don't know how I watched that as a kid. But as an adult, I find stuff like that more unnerving than like if I watched Alien, for example. And I don't know why. And I think it's to do with the fact that on a surface level, I feel like I should be comfortable. Like it's coming back to when I watch Alien, I'm prepared. I know I'm watching a horror. I know it's an alien, so therefore, like I am sort of, I've got my armor ready. Whereas when you watch, I suppose, like a Ghibli movie, it's because it's animation and it's like cartoon. You're kind of your guards down. But then when them scenes come in, like the pig scenes or the no face scene, it gets it catches you off guard. It's like, I think that's why. That's why I think it'd be cool for you to see something like that. I'd love to see something like that where it's like bright and colourful, but like super twisted when you look at it.
Yep.
That'd make for a sick scene.
And amazing thing about Spirit Away is like children actually really enjoy watching the story as well. Like they have no idea what's going on, but they have fun watching. But for adults, they understand the deeper meaning of some of the message, and that's why we are like people can just explore a story or a scene. For my case, my environment, they can just think the scene looks cool, and that's fine. Like, but for some people who like to dive deeper, they can find something more. And I think this is one of the fun part to do in environment artists. Like, if I show my scene to my parents, they don't understand the message, and I never told them anything about the message. They say, "Oh, good job, son. This looks good," and I'm happy. But some of my friends who know I always like storytelling, they will start to analyze what my message is, and then they tell me what they thought. Sometimes this message is not exactly what I thought, but it's really cool to listen, like what they think, and this give me a lot of satisfaction. Yeah, when I know someone really think about the message behind the scene. And when I make video games, I wish some in the future I can be like a, I don't know, level artist. Then I can make some kind of environment storytelling into the scene as well.
Yeah,
So people
I think
can,
that's why.
there's on YouTube there's a lot of like people making theories about stuff and blah 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 backstory about this faction and that faction. So maybe I can do those kind of role to create like mysterious puzzle for a player to solve.
I think that's why I'm so enamored by the Division and the guy, this sort of, and I'm not just saying that because Jeremy's in the call and all that kind of stuff. The thing I've always like, I'll be honest, it's gameplay wise, it's not even my type of game, but for such a big game, seeing all the little stories that take place within the environments, a car burnt out on the side isn't just a car burnt out on the side. Like there's luggage right now, children's bags, and you go, oh shit, this isn't just someone's random car. Like there was a family here who obviously got into trouble. Like in every part of that, there's no wasted space. Everything has a story. Even just micro stories, there's little like ecosystems of them. They make for great as an artist to explore. Like I said, it's not my type of gameplay, but I still just love exploring the area and just seeing these little stories. And it's like that's what, as environment artists or level artists, it really speaks to you, is just being able to tell them stories. And also you got the wider story, like the big grand narrative, which you want to still work towards.
Yep.
If you can like build the world up and the world has a bit more context because we told these tiny little stories, it makes such a difference. And like I said, a lot of them things the player probably doesn't consciously notice. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to be like I said with that car example. It's not like the player goes past a car with like a family set of luggage and go, "Oh, yeah, this was a family." But they subconsciously, bet there is a tick where they just go, they understand that the world they're running around was lived in and people were here. If it's just a burnt out car or nothing, they'd be like, it's just a burnt out car, I don't care. But all that little bits of context just resonates with people, I think, on a subconscious level.
Yeah. I think 80% of the people won't notice all those little details. Like I play Division as well, and I walk around and look at all the environment art, and my teammate just rush into killing enemies. So I don't think 80% of player care of those kind of stuff, but it doesn't matter. Like I think those are like those 20% of the people who care about those little tiny storytelling is enough.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So, dude, we're gonna wrap up. I ask everyone. I don't know if you listen to the podcast regularly, but ask everyone this question, and basically we're gonna do two things. One, we're gonna try this. I'm gonna stop doing this in future, but we'll start with this. What do you in let's say like a year's time? Where do you want to be as an artist? Like, where do you want to be as a person? What's the plan? Where do you want to be?
I want to improve my communication skill because right now like language is one of my barrier. Like I got a lot of ideas and different kind of thinking, but I'm not able to communicate verbally like exactly what I want in my head. So maybe I want to try to speak more and not being shy and make more videos and share my thought on the channels or make videos teaching people. Like teaching and share is another thing I want to improve as well. Like right now, finally it is so happy I'm finally able to get into AAA game industry. Actually, it took me so long. I think it took me. I mean, it took me 1.5 years to relearn 3D, but to be honest, it took me 11 years because I graduated from 2009, and I always want to be environment artist, but for some reason I become a programmer at first, and then I become a 2D artist, and then I changed to different kind of jobs, and then I realized I'm getting old. I'm turning 31. I'm turning 32. Oh my god. Oh, turning 32. And I never work on like a big games. And then I decide to quit my job and start relearning 3D. And then 1.5 years I got here. I'm so happy, and so this kind of experience maybe I can share with other people and inspire those people who are overseas, especially overseas. Um, they want to chase their dream, but they're afraid and they didn't have they don't want to risk, and so maybe I can share some of the knowledge and inspire those people to not give up and give it a shot.
Dude, that's an admirable goal, and I look forward to seeing you do it. Because I say, if no, you will do it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you do, man. I'm excited, and also just excited to see what scenes you put out. Every scene you put out is a delight to look at. So, and then you're also Ubisoft stuff, so you're gonna be doing. I get twice as much stuff from you. But Jason, dude, we're gonna wrap. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for participating in the challenge. Like I said, it was great to see this scene and this thing come together through the challenge. So hopefully you're gonna keep knocking out the park every single time. Everyone listening, remember to like, follow, subscribe, retweet, whatever it is, share the content, because the more people that get to hear from people such as Jason and before with Ken, Martin, and Jeremy, the better. But Jace, we're gonna shoot off. I'll catch you next week, guys.
Thanks, dude.